I thought I wouldn't have to come back to this topic again, but here we fucking go.
Then I started thinking, why are Matrix women flying all the way out to Thailand? Is it because they want to enjoy the same peace the men do? Or is it to poison the minds of Thai women so they'll start thinking like Matrix-minded women out here and create division between the men and the women?
The type of Thai women who are more likely to join this ideology are the ones who never had positive relationship with their fathers, or just men in general. Like, seriously, throughout all their lives, they've never had any man who treated them like, with respect. But luckily it doesn't happen to most of us anyway. I mean, usually those individuals embracing the modern Matrix Western women's movement centered around strength and independence, they frequently find themselves to be lonely, single, and bitter towards those women who have happy, healthy relationships. Otherwise, I wouldn't do my club best if there weren't a bitter Western woman trashing Thai women in the process of trashing passport bros. You know what? I'm going to reload my clapbacks onto this platform in my next video, so you can watch it for fun.
Now, I'm not saying that she's doing that intentionally, but Americans have a huge influence around the world. The way we walk, the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we dance, the way we sing and rap.
Yes, we've been influenced by the Western culture, but it's not the only one. Starting from the era of Sukhothai, from the 13th to the 15th century, we were trading within Asia. So, the first Western interaction that we had was with the Portuguese from 1511. That was during the Ayutthaya era. That was from 14th to the 18th century. But in some foreign accounts, we're known as Siam. The Siamese cat sound familiar to you? We've been through a few names, but today is known as the land of Thai, or Thailand. So during the 1700s, Ayutthaya was the most prosperous capital back in the days. It was known as the entrepot of international trade during that time. This would mean we weren't just trading within Asia, like we weren't just trading with our neighboring countries. We went all the way to the Middle East, which would have been Persia back then, all the way to the West, such as the Portuguese, the Dutch, French, Spanish, English. I think that's it. Yeah. So anyway, we would have been exposed to so many cultures through trading, but we still kept our culture, our history, and our values. And also, I like to point out that there would have been a lot of foreigners settling in Thailand back in those days. So passport bros is not a new thing. And because we've never been colonized before, I know I've said this so many times, but it's important, is that the fact that we borrow words from just anybody. It's not like we were forced to use your language. We just chose to borrow some words. So yeah, Thailand is very open. Through the language, you can see that we kind of integrate and by borrowing your words and putting in our language as well. But we have our independent language from day one. And we've always identified ourselves as Thai since the Sukhothai era, throughout to Ayutthaya era, up until now. We're Thai people. Thai means freedom, right? And that freedom was to break away from being oppressed by the Khmer Empire, right? And then we found our independent state at 1238. Not PM, we're talking about the year. Yeah, so the word Thai, it has a deep meaning, not just because we weren't colonized by the West, but we actually broke away from being oppressed by our next door neighbor. So basically, there's a long history to this because we Thai people exist before the United States was even a thing. See, as much as we like to embrace other cultures, we stay rooted to our own because we know our history. History is what built our identity, I would also like to point out that our previous king, Rama IX, was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in the United States. So yes, we would have had some Western cultures for a while now, but we still keep our own values. Our previous king was really into jazz. He was so influenced by jazz. and jazz is considered a black art form. So you can see here the picture I'm pulling up. That here is the king, and here is the front man, who's the black guy. Our king loved jazz so much that he actually composed about 49 songs, and 5 of them were dedicated to his wife, the queen. That's really romantic. You can check out one of his songs. I'll put the link in the description box below. So it's really nice for you to listen to when you're high on weed. I mean, for me, it feels good having jazz music in the background. Yeah, it's cool. You should go listen to it. What do I say about the recent king of Thailand? Well, he's got 2 wives. He's the head of a country that's never been colonized before. And he's the richest monarch in the whole world. Which means Andrew Tate ain't shit. Anyway, moving on.
Them coming here with that mindset is almost the same as bringing a foreign woman back to the States. After a couple of months, the chances of them getting infected by the Matrix virus increases, and the chances of a successful relationship decreases.
The individuals that he's talking about are the types that ain't got a mind of their own, and they would just follow others like sheeps because they think it's cool. Or it could be like what I mentioned earlier, is that maybe they never had any good experiences with men or never came across it. Yeah, they're the type to maybe join these Western women ideology of trashing men while showing their tits on OnlyFans. Girl power. I'm just joking. Because OnlyFans is actually banned in Thailand. But for you foreigners out there who are ignorant, you always perceive Thailand to be the #1 sex industry or having the largest red light district in the whole world. Prostitution is actually illegal in Thailand. But they legalized weed though, so I'm happy about that. I mean, Amsterdam, the Netherlands, Germany, France, Spain, the UK, except for the Northern Ireland, and Nevada, a state in the America, they legalized prostitution. So sex work is legal. But it's just really fucked up how I feel like most people have been brainwashed to associate sex work with just Asian women and not so much with the Western woman, even though the porn industry was created in the West. Yeah, I mean, I've got an answer for you why that happened. I studied this shit at uni. Yeah, so I'll talk about it in my next video. Although they don't seem to enforce the law against prostitution in Thailand because of toleration, sex toys are actually prohibited over there because it goes against the Thai morals of Buddhism, and it's a Buddhist country. I know it's confusing, but you're gonna have to make your own dildos or maybe get in touch with nature more sexually if you decided to take the modern woman's path. I mean, you may not need a man, but you may need some vegetables.
Another thing for you guys to know is, if you notice, Elle was nowhere near that conversation. She was in the house. She just stayed in her room.
She's smart for leaving that Western gender war in the living room and just goes into the kitchen and enjoy her sweet mango. Because I'll be joining her as well in the kitchen. I mean, why not? We'll just be gossiping and laughing at that one Westerner sitting in her yard while we eat that sweet mango.
All right, back to the conversation. You know, we don't have to do the stuff like our grandparents did, but the grandparents stayed married. That worked.
Because they had to.
Right, but now that you guys have the choice,
Yes.
now that you guys have the choice, look how it's working out for you
Yeah,
guys.
that's okay. This is what I understand.
No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
It's not, no, what you have to understand is that we're not mad. I think that is the misconception, is that we're mad at y'all because y'all not with us. I think that is the big disconnect here.
You say
And
we're mad at you guys because
No,
you're not
no, I think you guys think that we're mad at y'all because y'all ain't married us. And we not. That's my point. We don't go
Do you
off.
really feel that way?
Yes, we're not. Listen, all we say is leave us out of it. If you gotta go off and find your happiness somewhere else, go find it. Leave me alone though. Right? You don't gotta make a series about why American women are horrible and why American women are that and why black women are that. Like, just go off and do your damn thing. And then we don't have no reason to respond. Like, there's nothing to respond to. Go live your life. We're not mad.
I mean, I get her point. Some men just can't seem to leave with grace and they just have to trash women from their own community. I don't know, maybe there's something psychological going on that makes them hate modern women. I don't know. But I understand. That she's out here trying to protect the image and dignity just like anybody else would do. But then again, you do have the right to give constructive criticism towards your own community to make a better community or society, whatever you want to call it. And me, I criticize Thai people. I criticize English people. In fact, I criticize everyone because I don't discriminate. I just want to point out why she's very passionate, because my American cousins told me that the people always have to fight for their rights.
I think American people, now not all of them, but a lot of American people are actually great, and like there's a really strong like coalition of people fighting for basic fucking human rights, and like, there's really good community, there's good art, there's good food, there's good like community care, but the government has no interest in caring for any of us and wants to separate us all out and keep us hyper individual.
I feel like it is like that because of what is shown on the media as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why this Thai woman seems to display this calm demeanor is because we were taught to be more reserved and be diplomatic about shit. I mean, I don't know about myself though. Quick story, This white American guy DM'd me and he asked me, how do I become a passport bro? Because he saw me with a black guy. And I'm like, mate, I don't know. Because not every interracial relationship is based on that movement. Like, he thought that my man brought me back from Thailand instead of thinking that I grew up in London. So then I proceeded to ask him, are you sure you're even ready to look for someone to be in a relationship with? Because based upon how he made assumptions, just indicated to me that he won't survive. I told him assumptions is the mother of all fuck-ups. And then I wished him luck, I think. In fact, I don't remember what happened after that, but that was weird.
One of the complaints that men and women in the States have regarding the passport bro movement is not that we're just taking our resources and going to other countries. I noticed one of the top outlets or top complaints that they have about what we're doing is that you guys are putting down or talking about black women. You are degrading the queens. You are talking about the women so much. You could just leave. Why do you have to talk about black women?
Just go do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really care about where you go and who you being with if you just don't fish on us.
You're right. We are talking about the sisters. Black, white, Asian. We are talking about the behavior pattern of modern women and many sisters
So
in the
what's the point
States.
of the TikTok
We're
video?
not going to be like Thai women because our history is different.
Right, but what's the TikTok videos all about then?
What you
If
talking
you're
about?
saying they don't care
The
on a regular
TikTok videos
basis.
are saying, look at your little dusty ass. Nobody wanted you anyway, okay? Yes, you over there getting that woman because you can give her $200 a month and she's going to be happy and taken care of.
The lady doth protest too much, methinks. How is she and all those bitter Western women from TikTok are supposed to protect the Western woman image and dignity when they have just fallen into the stereotype of the loud, ignorant, obnoxious Americans? I mean, she's sitting there as a guest in a Thai house. This is definitely on the list of what not to do when visiting Thailand. จะพูดอะไรก็ให้ระวังปากหน่อยสิป้า Karen? Like, the lack of self-awareness in how to carry oneself as a guest is allowing her to reiterate insults, online insults towards Thai women. A Thai woman who's sitting not far from her. Literally, they're on the same fucking sofa. I just think that's fucking rude, innit? Like, are you not aware? Like, how old are you? This is common knowledge, no? Fucking hell. Another thing that I don't get is, like, why do these women tend to think that Thai women just settle for any dusty men out there that are available? Like, first of all, no one in the right mind would want to settle down with the dusty man. But also, how is he dusty if he moved to another country where he can establish himself better than where he came from? Because where he came from, the government don't care about him. I mean, I'm sure the government don't care about her either because she's sitting there in Thailand, innit? I mean, England is no better. It's all fucking corrupt. true dusty men, they don't progress or reach as far as passport bros who are doing well and living well in Thailand or in another country. I would also like to point out that just because things are cheaper in Thailand, it doesn't always mean that it lacks in quality. An example of that would be mobile phones like Apple or Samsung or whatever, yeah. They cost less in Thailand than in the UK. And I think it's to do with the import tax. It would be less for Thailand because of the close proximity of where the product is being produced. And most shit are made in Asia anyway. It's the same thing from the same company with a different price tag, but neither lacks in quality. Thai women don't adhere to the same standards. $200 may not be sufficient for some because they can be earning more than that per month. Or they could be gold diggers, just, never know when it's enough. Although this phenomenon is not exclusive to Thailand. You can actually find this in the West. You can find this like anywhere, but example in the West would be those IG models, OnlyFans, flying to Dubai just to be human toilets, if you know what I mean. And then get paid for that. Get paid for doing some sick, depraved sex. But yeah, you can't just say that all Thai women will settle for $200. What the fuck? I've watched another video of this same interview, but from a different angle. And she mentioned that she had to cook for the whole family at the age of 12, right? And that her mom wasn't really available because her mom has to work hard because her dad wasn't around. He was too busy making babies with other women, I imagine, because she said he has 25 kids. And that she, at the age of 12, was acting like a second mom to her little sister and taking up those responsibilities that the adults were supposed to be doing. I mean, this sort of narrative is prevalent around the world. I'm not disregarding her struggles, but all struggles are valid. But the type of woman who went through bad experience with their fathers, for example, being abandoned before they were even born by the fathers, or the fathers having to serve long sentences, or that he's addicted to drugs and alcohol, and is so toxic that mothers having to take their children and literally hide from the fathers. Those women who went through those kind of shit, yeah, they can come up kind of fucked up and have trust issue with men and probably join the modern Matrix women's movement. And actually some of them that I've met and spoke to who are in their 50s and stayed single for a long time and are very content, those ones have found peace within themselves, right? And they don't need to be pissed off at other women who are in happy relationship, right? Or some of them actually vow to themselves that they would find a good man who can provide for them, who will protect them, and also reciprocate the love and respect. Yeah, that's it.